Hello, hello, hello. This is the Go Make Things podcast. I'm Chris Ferdinandi. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I often feel more myself online than in real life. This episode and others like it are made possible thanks to the generous support of my Go Make Things members. A recurring membership helps me create more episodes like this and also gets you access to some cool perks. Learn more over at gomakethings.com/join. All right, let's dig in. So it's really surprising to me how many fully remote jobs I see that require mandatory several times a year travel under the pretense that face-to-face time is really important for team building. And I wanted to talk a bit about why that's ableist and exclusionary. So I personally feel like I'm more myself online. I think this might be a neurodivergent thing, but I feel more like my real self when I'm interacting with folks online or asynchronously than I do face to face. So part of it is that eye contact is hard for me. Too much visual or auditory input in an office environment makes it hard for me to focus on what people are saying. And honestly, I'm awkward at small talk. Sometimes my brain and my mouth can't keep up with each other, and I either talk too fast and bounce around topics too much, or I can't think of responses quickly enough to actually participate in the conversation. And I find face-to-face interaction exhausting. I need so much alone time to recharge afterwards. The other piece of this, I think, is internet culture. So anyone who's active in internet culture knows that you can build deep connections without ever meeting someone in real life. I have participated in so many projects with fully remote teams where I've never met the people that I'm working with in real life, but I work extremely closely with them and feel really close to them. I have people I consider close friends that I only know through the internet. I care deeply about them and their lives, and I talk to some of them nearly every day. Being online isn't this separate thing from real life. It's different than the physical environment for sure, but it's not less real and it's not less meaningful. The other aspect of this is where I think this might actually very much be kind of a neurodivergent versus neurotypical thing, is that like I don't need to see your face. I find that a lot of neurotypical folks are really into seeing people's faces. This was a really big thing in the early years of the COVID pandemic when people would get really weird about masking in schools and wanting to see everyone's mouths and noses. And that was just never a big thing for me. I just now connecting some dots on that actually. But anyone who was online during the 90s or the early aughts probably remembers having online friends who you only knew by username and avatar. I never felt less connected to those people because of that. Now I get that some people need face-to-face interaction. So like this is a me preference. Not everyone has that preference. And that's neurotypical folks, to an extent, boomers, seem to really need face-to-face time. It doesn't work for them. That's fine. I wouldn't want to impose my preferences on someone else. I wouldn't want to say that no one should get together in real life just because I don't personally like it. Lots of people enjoy it. That's cool. Do your thing. But similarly, don't make me do it just because you prefer it. Like, just like I don't want to impose my preferences on others, I don't want other people's preferences imposed on me. One other thing that I think does not get talked about enough is that fully remote is an accommodation. I actively seek out fully remote jobs for a reason. I'm more productive. I can structure my day around optimal hours of productivity, shifting abilities to focus, changes in my energy from day to day or hour to hour. It just really lets me work around how my brain and my body work best, allowing me to get the most productivity or the most like effective work out of myself that I can. Similarly, asynchronous text communication like Slack and Discord give me a chance to think about my words before hitting send. I can reread, rephrase, and make sure that the tone and the meaning actually match what I'm feeling in my head. In real life, that's often not the case, and how I think I sound and how others hear me don't match, which is always really awkward. Where you think you said something one way and a majority of people around you interpret it a different way. That's really frustrating. And it makes for a rough situation for everybody. Remote video chat gives me a chance to connect with folks in a richer way and gives folks who want that face-to-face time something close to it. Like we're not there in person, but you're seeing my face. I know that's really important for a lot of people. But it also affords me the opportunity to pull up a different window so that I'm not bombarded with lots of visual noise. Like I find seeing lots of faces all at once overwhelming sometimes. And so being able to hide that while other people get to see my face, but I don't even, like, my brain doesn't even know necessarily, like, kind of connect the dots on that. Like, that's really helpful. Or I can turn my camera off if I need a break. I can set myself up in a space that's otherwise free of distractions and limit my sensory input. So, like, I'm in a meeting, but all of the normal distractions of a meeting aren't there. It's just me in my office space. I don't have to deal with the exhaustion of commuting, which would suck up valuable mental energy that I need to exist as a neurodivergent person in a neurotypical world. Similarly, like if you have to travel somewhere for like an event, right? Like a big corporate all hands meeting or something like that. Like just the act of travel is really mentally and physically exhausting. Especially if you have to cross time zones, trying to keep track of a lot of little details. If you have executive dysfunction, if you are physically disabled, there's a whole other layer of like shit that you have to deal with when you do that. So it takes away a lot of, like, you have a finite bucket of energy, right? And you're starting your day now with half that bucket dumped out. And I don't see how that's good for anybody. And also kind of can lead to like burnout and recovery issues. So what I'm asking is to please stop making in-person events mandatory. Early pandemic sucked for a lot of reasons, like the death, the fear, the uncertainty, but there was some beauty in it too. People came together and actually seemed to give a shit about each other in a much deeper way than we had in ages. So many mutual aid groups sprung up, priorities shifted a bit, everyone slowed down and focused on life beyond work. And I felt accommodated to a degree that I never had before. Now I realize I am in an immensely privileged bucket. I know that for a lot of folks who worked in the jobs that we were calling essential while paying them like minimum wage and forcing them to work in shitty conditions, like those folks didn't have that same kind of accommodation that I had. So like this was not roses for everybody. Like I want to acknowledge that up front, right? But COVID showed us that we can build rich, meaningful communities online, and that face-to-face isn't a requirement. It's a preference for some people and a hindrance for others. A lot of disabled folks who had previously been unable to participate in a lot of stuff suddenly found a whole new world opened up to them during the pandemic because of the shift online. And then when we all rushed to go do things in person again a couple of years ago, as of this recording, that went away for them. Just like the floor dropped out. So I'm begging you, please stop making travel and in-person events mandatory. Let me be my true self and let me do my best work. That's it for today. Before we go, I did want to mention that I recently decided to stop selling expensive courses that most folks can only afford with a corporate training budget and focus on creating more excellent free content, including podcast episodes like this one. A recurring Go Make Things membership helps me create more episodes like this and also get you some cool perks like access to my private Discord community and my personal collection of courses, guides, and code snippets. There are a range of membership levels available and they all get the same perks. So even as little as $3 a month helps keep this show going. You can join or learn more at gomakethings.com/join. And that's it for today. I will see you next time. And thanks so much for listening. Cheers.